Good morning, grand rising, and welcome to your tomorrow that was granted to you because God kept you through the night. A wonderful Wednesday to you. Happy hump day. Woo woo. Halfway through, y'all. Woo, good morning and welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you had a peaceful and restful sleep last night and that you awakened this morning refreshed and revived and renewed and ready to face another day. Thankful for another day. I hope you said thank you this morning when you opened your eyes and found yourself to be in the land of the living and alive and well. So I hope you said thank you. And I hope you gave God a little bit of time this morning, seeing as though he gives you time every day. Nevertheless, I hope all is well in your world, on your side of town, on your side of the world, and that you are ready to face your day and that your morning is off to a great start. That is my hope. That is my prayer. And I just hope you're feeling good in your spirit. I am. I'm blessed. I'm favored. I am loved. And it feels good all down in my spirit. So get you some. Get you some Jesus if you don't have him. Get you some. Oh, but good morning again. And thank you all for the regulars who hang in here with me and ride with me every day. I am deeply appreciative of your support, whether quiet or not. Thank you for sending me your energy, your love, and for supporting me in this journey as it begins, as it unfolds. And if you're new, welcome aboard. AM with Kim. Thank you for joining me with AM with Kim, where I am going to give you some motivational moments to get your morning going and carry you through your day. And then if you see so fit, to circle back around in the evening for PM with Kim, where I give you some evening inspiration. It might be a quote, but it could just be based on stuff, just life, just aha moments for things, reflections, things that come to my mind throughout the day that I just kind of just want to share. So, excuse me, that's what this platform is for now. And then we're just going to add on some layers and layers as we go. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your smoothie, grab your protein shake, your oatmeal, your yogurt. Or if some of y'all, you're eating you a hearty big breakfast with some bacon and eggs and pancakes and all that, God bless you. Whatever it is you're eating on and sipping on, grab it. Sit back and relax with me for a minute. Ride with me if you're in your car. Turn up the volume. And for those of you who are at work or at home, sit back and relax with me for a minute. I ain't gonna hold you long. Just want to share from a quote this morning and just give my thoughts and my reflections. And hopefully there's something that I can say that you can glean something from it and apply it however you can, and that you'll be inspired and motivated to just keep on keeping on. All right, so let's jump into this quote here this morning. It reads, "Before you assume, learn the facts. Before you judge, understand why. Before you hurt someone, feel. Before you speak, think." This is a message that I give to my students all the time. We have got to be mindful of people in their circumstances and their situations that they're facing, and stop looking at it through our lenses. And I have to remind myself as a teacher not to do that, because everybody is experiencing things in a different way, in a different manner, and just because I got through something a certain way doesn't mean everybody else is going to get through something a certain way. So we've got to learn to meet people where they are and try to understand them and be empathetic, to what it is they're going through, and stop projecting ourselves and our strength and our ways of thinking and our biases and all of those things onto people because that's how we roll. No, we have to understand. We have to meet people where they are, understand what's going on, and then try to be empathetic or sympathetic. Empathetic means you've experienced it and you can feel it. Sympathetic means you have a heart that, you know what, I feel for you. I don't understand what you're going through because I haven't been through that, but I feel for you. And so you should be displaying one of the two. And so the first one says, before you assume, learn the facts. Stop judging people. Stop looking at people and saying, you know. And I'm gonna tell you what, I've been guilty in the past. Like, I look at people how they dress. I'm like, why they got that on? You know, but that might be all that they have to wear. Or it might be that that's how they grew up and that's what they saw and that is their norm, albeit not appropriate, but that might be their norm because that's all they know. We just can't, you know, we can't assume that people know everything. We can't assume that people understand everything because we do. So we can't assume that we understand what's going on with people, why they act, how they act, because we are assuming that we know what's what instead of learning the facts. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody if you're able to talk to somebody. If you don't know them, then just mind your business, because it is not yours to speak on. It's not yours to analyze or assess. We need to stop assuming, because drop the UME off of it, and what does that make you? Yeah. So let's learn the facts about people and not project our stuff on them because we think we're so much better. We're not. We just have had some other experiences that have allowed us to navigate a little bit differently. But we're not better than anybody else because we're not doing what they're doing, or we're not walking the way they're walking. Until you walk a mile in somebody's shoes and you know all of the backstory and know why they do what they do, don't assume you know why, and don't judge them because it's not something you would do. Just in your mind, like, okay, that ain't my thing, but hey, I don't know the facts. Learn the facts before you assume that you know what people are doing, saying, or why they're operating in the manner that they operate, rather. And we just have to be better. We just have to be better and not, place how we operate, impose how we operate on somebody else because we think that's how they should operate. No. Get to know people, learn the facts, and then you can be an example for them. And then you can speak some life into them. Then you can give them alternative ways of thinking and doing when you've established a connection, a relationship with somebody. Then you can say, hey, you know what? Maybe you might think about, wearing something else to this thing. One of the examples I used to, back in the day, I would have students when we would do presentations, and I was working in an area that people had trouble with the law. Let's put it like that. And I would have them, when we would do presentations, I tell them, dress up. Look nice when you're doing a presentation, because when you get on your job, you're going to need to look nice. You need to present. You need to represent. Look at the sun. Good God. Good morning, God. Yes, the S-O-N and the S-U-N are bright this morning. I'm sorry I digress, but I had to acknowledge my God. Yes. Whew. But I used to tell my students when they would get ready to present that you got to look nice. You got to dress nice. You got to present. You got to represent. And you know how I would make them understand. And sometimes you got to speak people's language. They were like, oh, I don't know what to wear. Dress like you're going to court. And they were like, oh, okay. And you got to speak people's language. So I say all of that to say, don't assume you know people until you learn the facts about them. And meet people where they are and don't impose your biases on them. Second one, before you judge, understand why. Before you start speaking over somebody, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done so and so and so and so and so, and blah, 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 blah. Or somebody gets in trouble and, and you're like, oh, they probably deserve it. You don't know a person's why. We need to get to the why as individuals. Our why. Why do I act like this when such and such happens? Why do I act like this when such and such happens? And that goes back to root. That goes deep. Your why goes deep. Why am I responding negatively to what they just said, is it what they said, or is it because it triggered something in me from the past? Understand people's why. Don't look at people like, oh, you know what, he done been to jail 3 times. Okay, he made some bad decisions. But why? Why? It's the why that matters. It's understanding people's why so that we can help them to get to the root, to address the root, to acknowledge how it makes them feel, and then to be able to pull up that root and discard it. Because if it's not good and it's rooted deep, it's time to pull it up and discard it. Sometimes you got to chop that tree down because the roots grow deep. And if the roots are not good, pull that thing up, chop that thing down so that you can address the why. And so let's learn to understand the why before we start making assumptions or start talking negatively over people and their decisions and their lifestyle and the things that they do or say until we know their why. And I'm not making excuses for people, but people operate off of their experiences, off of their traumas, off of the things they've seen, the things they've been exposed to, the things that they have heard, the things that they have learned from watching people in their environment. So that's their why. Now we have to figure out how we get past the why. And that's where you address it, you think about it, you figure out why it's making you do what you do, and then you heal from it and you move past it. But it's a process. It's not a one-day thing. It's a process. And so let's start trying to understand people's whys. Let's start trying to understand our own whys so we can be better. So if we understand our why and address our whys, then we're getting better. And then we can then help somebody else address their whys and why they do the things they do. And then that's how we get better, y'all. The next one is before you hurt someone, feel. Man, before you go to intentionally hurt somebody, think about how is this going to make them feel? Think about how is this going to affect them? And remember, the power of life is in the power of life and death are in the tongue. Watch your mouth, because you can either speak life over people or you can speak death or harm or ill will over people. And guess what? You can say, oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't take away. They can't unhear what you said. They can't unfeel what you did to them. I saw this example one time, a video where I think it was a professor or something. He had this jar, this glass jar or porcelain jar or something, and he broke the jar. And then he started getting the pieces together and putting the pieces back together again to fix the jar. But his whole idea was that I broke this jar because I threw it down. I did harm to it. But now I'm putting the pieces back together. I'm sorry. But guess what? It's still cracked. Although I'm putting the pieces together, although I'm sorry, it's still cracked. So be mindful of how you treat people. Be mindful of what you do intentionally or not intentionally. And try to feel how that person might feel before you even do or say what it is you are going to do or say, so that we are mindful of how we treat people. Yes, Lord. Thank you for the confirmation. Yes. We have to, be better. We have to be mindful of how we treat people, because I'm telling you what, I can remember every negative thing somebody has said to me and every negative thing somebody has done to me. But then if you go back and you analyze what good things happen, we struggle trying to figure out, what good things. I was reading in one of my devotionals, they said, think about the best day of your life. And I sat there and I was like, okay, the best day of my life is when I had my son, Excuse me. That's one of the best days. But Like, we have a hard time recalling those good things. Good things happen to us, but we can recall every single negative thing. We might be able to put a date and a time on it. And that just goes to show that our feelings matter. And the way people do the things that people do to us, the things that people say to us, have a lasting effect. And so before you start treating people illy, and before you start running your mouth about people, and before you start trying to rally people against someone, and before you start trying to undermine and do ill will towards people, or just come out of your mouth nasty, or just not doing well towards people, remember, people feel that, and they carry that. And that is another one of those trauma-induced things that people, it's one of those tears in their heart. It's one of those little holes that have to be filled, because then people got to deal with it. They got to address it. They got to figure out why they feel that way, and then they got to unpack it, seal it up, and move on. All because you didn't think to be careful with how you treat somebody. So please be mindful of how you treat people, because or if you're hurting somebody, especially intentionally. Sometimes we hurt people and we don't mean it. You know, we weren't intentional about it, but what we might have said might have triggered something in them, or, you know, what we might have done might not have been as nice. You know, because sometimes in the car, and these people who can't drive, I ain't always the nicest, y'all. And I got to ask God, I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me, you know. So, but I don't intentionally go out to set out and hurt people's feelings. But feel before you do stuff to people, before you hurt somebody, before you address them in a way that could have a lasting effect. Feel how it will feel to them. Walk in it for a minute, and then you'll think otherwise. Or at least I hope you would. And then finally, before you speak, think. Kind of going back to, I said, life and death, the power of life and death are in the tongue. Some of y'all got some tongues that lash, that are just evil. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm just calling it what it is. Some of your mouths are, the stuff that's spewing out of your mouth is ugly. But out of the mouth, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you're speaking it, it's in your heart. So now it's time for you to do some heart work, because the stuff that you're saying is representative of what's in your heart. So are you speaking life, or are you speaking death? And if you're speaking death, what's in your heart? I need you to get, you might not need a cardiologist, but you need the heart doctor. You need Jesus. Because if you are being malicious out of your mouth, if you are careless with your words, if you are, I don't care, I'm going to say what I want to say. No, you should not. It is not okay. And it's not cool to posture yourself like that. It is not cool. It's just not. So be mindful of what you say. Be mindful of the words that you speak, because you can't unspeak them. And people can't unhear them. You can say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Doesn't matter. They still heard it. They still feel it. And they still now got to carry that. They might forgive you. And they may say, you know, okay, all right. But guess what? That's going to play over in their head. It's going to play over in their head. And the moment that you do something in the future that is remotely connected to that, they're coming back to it, and they're replaying it, and they're replaying it. So be mindful of what you come out of your mouth and say, because it changes lives. And are the words that you're saying changing lives for the better? Or are they changing lives for the worse? And if it's the worst, get your life right. Shut your mouth. If you can't, if you can't be kind, shut up. And shut up is not a nice phrase. But if you can't be kind, if your words are not laced with love, shut up. Don't nobody need to carry your mess around with them, because you have been careless out of your mouth. You have been evil out of your mouth. And you have said things that are just bad. Be slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to anger, slow to speak. So I tell my students all the time, before you respond, process. Count to 10. Count to 10. Some of y'all need to count to 100 before you respond. And when you get to those, although text messaging is not words spoken, they are words that you would speak had you had the opportunity to speak them. Before you respond to a text, and you don't get them thumbs going. Sit down. Don't even close it out. Give yourself a moment to process it before you respond. Because when you respond, you can't take back what you've responded. Process it. Why did that tick me off? What were their intentions behind what they were saying? Because guess what? That's why I'm not big with texting, because you can't ascertain intention. You can't ascertain tone. You can't, unless, if somebody giving you a text in all capital letters, they mean they're yelling at you. But you can't ascertain those things from a text. But before you respond, be slow to respond. Process it. And sometimes you might need to wait, not just today, you need to wait another day before you even respond. And sometimes it doesn't even warrant a response. Sometimes you just shake your head and knowing. Half of the battle is knowing, y'all. If you know where somebody's coming from, you don't even have to expend the energy on it. Don't respond. So some of y'all, when people say something to you, and I know some of y'all, you pop, you quick wit, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say, that ain't cute. That ain't edifying. That ain't holy. That ain't nice. Now, am I quick-witted? Yeah, I can. I could come back. Ooh. Back in the day, we called it Jonas. Don't come for me unless I call you, because I will eat you alive. But is it edifying? Is it worth it? Back in the day, I did. I would light you up. Is it? I ain't doing all of that now. If I got to use that kind of energy on you, I don't want to be bothered with you or around you. So before you speak, think. And before you speak, count to 10. Some of y'all count to 100. Some of y'all just be quiet. Just be quiet. Because your response is not going to be appropriate. And if your response is not appropriate and it's something that you're going to have to go back and regret, just don't. And some things are just not worth the response. Some things it's like, you know what? Why am I even responding to this? Is it going to make me feel better? And then you're just going to keep replaying it. Some things you just got to cut it off. You got to dig up the dirt, bury it, cover it up, pray over it, and move on. It ain't worth it. It's not worth the energy. It's not worth the time. It's not worth your heart space, your head space. And then you get all caught up and tied up in it. And then what? Like they just said what they said and you still reeling. You still over here sitting in it, boiling. And they over there having fun, laughing with their kikiing with their girlfriends, over here dapping it up with the dudes. And you over there sitting in your feelings. Replaying it. Man, let that stuff go. It ain't worth it. And if they got you like that, adjust accordingly. They ain't your people. They ain't your person. Start subtracting. If the things ain't adding up, if the people ain't adding up, and they not right, start subtracting. Those are the people that you do not need around you. If they ain't good for you and they ain't good to you, they don't need to have access to you. And you can love people from a distance. You can forgive people and not have anything to do with them. I debate with my brother about that. He'd be like, oh, you be holding grudges. No, I don't. I don't hold grudges. I forgive people. I'm good. I just don't have to be around you. That's not holding a grudge. That's self-care. Like, I don't need to keep putting myself in a position where you get to keep doing me any kind of way. I forgive you for what you've done. I will love you from a distance. But I'm not going to have you in my space if you're always violating. I don't need that. I don't care if you're family or not. I don't care if we've been knowing each other for 30 years. We've been friends. We ain't really friends if I got to analyze you like that. So just be mindful of how you're operating with people and how you allow people to operate with you. And if you are around people who don't love on you, who don't speak life over you, who mean you ill will, let them go. My prayer lately is, and I've been intentional about it, Lord, please remove people from my life that don't mean me any good. Please remove the Judases, especially the ones who intentionally want to do me harm. And then the people who are holding me down, holding me back, who are not going to go with me in my next level. Remove them in love, but remove them, because I don't want them going with me. I don't want them dragging me down. I don't want them sapping out my energy. So be okay with releasing folk, especially if they're not doing you good, doing you well. And you always got to be in your feelings about them. But on the flip side of that coin, make sure that you're your best self and that you're not assuming that you know people and not learning the facts. You're not judging people and not learning their why. You're not hurting somebody without feeling what it is you would be given. And then you're not speaking before you think. If you can do those things by people daily, then God is pleased. If you're not, adjust accordingly. But be your best self, and don't allow people who are not treating you in that not in kind. If they're not doing to you the way you're doing them, adjust accordingly. But be your best self. That's it. That's all. That's my motivational moment this morning. I know I was long-winded, but I get caught up in, I guess gets in my spirit, and I just gotta share it. So that's my motivational moment. I hope I said something that will help you. I hope you can take something and glean from it, and go in power, and go in peace, and go in love. So let me leave you with my charge. Be good to somebody today. Be gracious, be kind, extend a helping hand, do a good deed. And all of those things don't cost you any money, just cost you a little bit of time and compassion. So everybody, be good to somebody today. Be the reason why at least one person smiles today. And while you're being good to somebody else, please make sure you're being good to yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So go in peace, go in love, go and be great. Be your best self today. Be better today than you were yesterday, and strive to be better tomorrow than you are today. And if you can do those things, God is pleased, and he will honor that. So have a blessed and beautiful day on purpose, y'all. Make it count. And blessed and beautiful day on purpose means you're intentionally striving for the best, and removing yourself from anything that would counter that. All right, so go in peace, go in love, speak life over everybody that you encounter, and only allow people who are speaking life over you to be in your presence. Spread love, y'all, because if we can spread love, we can change this world. And then allow people, when you're spreading love, also allow people to love back on you, genuinely. All right, so that's it. That's all, y'all. Peace and blessings from my heart to yours. I love you. Have a great day. And don't forget me in the PM. Come on back with PM with Kim. All right. See you later.